There are moments in time when something shifts so quietly, yet so powerfully, that only the spiritually alert can feel it. This is one of those moments, and the fact that you are here, reading these words right now, is not random. It is not coincidence. It is not something you stumbled upon while passing time. No, this is a summons, a divine summons. And deep within you, there is already a knowing. You felt it before you even opened this message. That subtle pull, that quiet urgency, that unexplainable sense that this matters. That something about this moment is different from all the others. You've read things before. You've heard messages before. But this feels personal. Because it is. Something you've been waiting for. Something you've prayed for, hoped for, cried over, questioned, almost given up on, is closer now than it has ever been before. Not vaguely close, not someday close, but presently, imminently, undeniably close. And yet, here is the truth that Archangel Michael is revealing. Closeness alone is not enough. Timing is everything. You see, many people reach the edge of their breakthrough and miss it. Not because it wasn't meant for them, not because they weren't ready, but because they failed to recognize the moment. They rushed when they were supposed to remain still. They acted when they were supposed to observe. They forced when they were supposed to align. And now, you are standing in that exact space. A space between anticipation and arrival. A space where everything feels like it's about to happen but hasn't happened yet. That tension you've been carrying. That mix of excitement and frustration. That feeling like something is just around the corner but you can't quite see it. That is not confusion. That is not delay. That is proximity. You are closer than you have ever been. But here is what must be understood, and this is where most people falter. When something is this close, the temptation to rush becomes overwhelming. The urge to force outcomes, to chase answers, to push doors open prematurely, it intensifies. And that is exactly where misalignment happens. Archangel Michael steps forward in this moment, not as a distant symbol, but as a present guardian of your timing. His voice does not come with panic. It comes with authority, with clarity, with precision. And he says, do not rush what heaven has already aligned, because what is coming toward you is not something you need to chase. It is something you need to recognize. There is a difference, a powerful difference. One requires effort rooted in fear. The other requires awareness rooted in trust. And right now, you are being called into awareness. Look at your recent days. Look at the subtle shifts, the repeated thoughts, the moments that felt significant for no clear reason, the doors that didn't open, but didn't fully close either, the conversations that lingered in your mind longer than usual, the signs that felt small but persisted. These are not random fragments of life. They are pieces of alignment. Heaven does not always announce breakthroughs with loud declarations. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it nudges. Sometimes it arranges circumstances so precisely that only those who are paying attention will recognize the pattern. And that is why this message found you. Because you are being asked not to run forward blindly, but to see clearly. To slow down just enough to recognize what is already forming. To trust that what you have been waiting for is not delayed, it is arriving in divine order. There is something powerful about this moment. Something sacred. Something that cannot be rushed without consequence. And that is why Archangel Michael is speaking now, before the moment fully unfolds, so that you do not miss it when it does. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not waiting in vain. You are standing at the edge of something that has been moving toward you for longer than you realize. And now everything depends on one thing. Will you recognize it when it appears? Or will you rush past it, thinking it hasn't come yet? This is your awakening. This is your alert. This is your moment to become aware in a way you never have before. Because what is coming is already closer than you think. Type "I am ready" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1717 is now activated around you. There is a pressure you have been carrying, and no matter how much you try to explain it away, it continues to return. It does not fully overwhelm you, yet it does not fully leave you either. It lingers in quiet moments. It rises when you least expect it. It shows up as restlessness in your spirit, as a sense that something is unfinished, as a feeling that you are standing in the middle of something you cannot yet fully see. This tension is not accidental. It is not emotional instability. It is not confusion. It is a signal. It is the signal of an imminent shift. You must understand this clearly, because this is where many lose their clarity. When something significant is approaching, the atmosphere around your life begins to change before the event itself becomes visible. There is an internal stirring that precedes external manifestation. It feels like anticipation mixed with uncertainty, like standing at the edge of a doorway without knowing what is on the other side. You are not lost. You are being positioned. This is why your thoughts have felt more intense lately. This is why certain memories have resurfaced without invitation. This is why you have felt moments of sudden clarity followed by moments of quiet questioning. Your spirit is adjusting to a new alignment that your mind is still trying to understand. And in that adjustment, tension is created. Not to harm you, but to prepare you. Archangel Michael is not silent in this moment. He is observing the movement within you, and he speaks with precision. What you feel is not pressure to act. It is pressure to awaken. There is a difference, and it is a difference that will determine whether you move in alignment or move in haste. Because when tension rises, the natural human response is to release it quickly, to make a decision, to force clarity, to do something, anything, to escape the discomfort of waiting. But this tension is not meant to be escaped. It is meant to be understood. It is the stretching that occurs before expansion. It is the tightening that happens before release. It is the invisible shift that must take place before the visible one can arrive. And if you rush to relieve it prematurely, you risk interrupting what is already unfolding in your favor. Look closely at your recent experiences. There have been moments where you felt unusually aware, as if something within you was trying to draw your attention to details you would normally ignore. There have been instances where you paused, even briefly, and sensed that something about that moment mattered more than it appeared. These are not coincidences. These are fragments of alignment surfacing through the tension. The challenge is that tension often disguises itself as urgency. It makes you feel like you are running out of time, when in reality, you are stepping into the exact timing that was designed for you. It creates the illusion that something must be done immediately, when in truth, what is required is stillness, observation, and trust. Archangel Michael makes this clear. Do not confuse intensity with instruction. Just because something feels strong does not mean it is guiding you to act. Sometimes, it is guiding you to become aware, to recognize, to discern. Because what is approaching your life is not something that can be forced into existence. It is something that has already been set in motion, and your role is to meet it with clarity, not chaos. You have been closer than you realized for some time now, but as you approach the final stages of alignment, the internal signals become stronger. This is why the tension has increased. Not because something is wrong, but because something is about to become right in a way that shifts everything. Your spirit senses the nearness of this change, even if your external reality has not yet reflected it. Do not allow this moment to mislead you. Do not interpret the tension as a problem that needs solving. It is not a problem. It is a preparation. It is the final adjustment before the alignment becomes visible. And if you can remain grounded within it, if you can resist the urge to rush, to force, to prematurely conclude, you will begin to see what has been forming all along. You are not being pushed forward blindly. You are being positioned carefully. Every feeling, every moment of heightened awareness, every subtle shift in your perception is part of a larger orchestration that is moving with precision. Nothing about this is random. Nothing about this is wasted. Even the discomfort has purpose. And now, you stand in a critical space. A space where your response to this tension will determine how you step into what is coming. Will you react to it, trying to escape it? Or will you recognize it, understanding that it is the final signal before arrival? Because this tension is not here to stay. It is here to alert you. Something is about to shift, and you are being prepared to meet it. Type "I trust the timing" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2222 is now surrounding you. There has been a question echoing quietly within you, even when you tried not to give it a voice. A question that surfaced in moments of waiting, in moments of silence, in moments where you looked at your life and wondered why something so deeply desired, so consistently prayed for, had not yet fully arrived. You may not have said it out loud, but you have felt it. Why is this taking so long? And in that question, there has been a subtle weight, a subtle doubt, a subtle temptation to believe that perhaps what you were waiting for was being withheld, or worse, denied. But hear this clearly, because this is where clarity must replace assumption. What you have experienced was never denial. It was alignment. The illusion of delay is one of the most powerful distortions you can encounter in a moment like this. It convinces you that time is being wasted, that progress is not happening, that doors are not opening. But what it hides is the reality that movement does not always look like motion. There are seasons where everything is being arranged, positioned, and prepared beneath the surface beyond your immediate perception. And because you cannot see it, it feels like nothing is happening. But that feeling is not truth. It is limitation. Archangel Michael steps forward in this understanding with a voice that cuts through confusion, and he says, "What you called delay, heaven called design." There is intention behind every moment that did not unfold the way you expected. There is purpose behind every pause that seemed unnecessary. There is precision behind every closed door that left you questioning your path. Nothing has been random. Nothing has been wasted. Every part of your waiting has been building toward this exact moment. You must begin to see your timeline differently. Not as a series of missed opportunities or postponed outcomes, but as a carefully constructed path where each step has led you closer, not further away. Because if what you were waiting for had arrived earlier, you would not have been aligned to receive it in the way you are now. You would have approached it with a different mindset, a different level of awareness, a different capacity to handle what comes with it. And that difference matters more than you realize. There were things within you that needed to shift before what you desire could fully meet you. Patterns that needed to dissolve. Perspectives that needed to evolve. Strength that needed to develop. And while you were focused on the outcome, heaven was focused on the preparation. Not because the outcome was being withheld, but because it was being protected. This is why certain things did not work out when you thought they should. This is why certain opportunities passed without materializing. This is why some paths seem promising but did not lead where you expected. It was not rejection. It was redirection. It was not denial. It was refinement. Every moment that felt like a setback was actually a step into a more precise alignment with what is truly meant for you. And now, as you stand where you are, you can begin to sense that something has changed. The waiting no longer feels empty. It feels full. Full of anticipation. Full of quiet certainty. Full of something that is difficult to explain but impossible to ignore. That is because you are no longer in a place of distant expectation. You are in a place of imminent arrival. Archangel Michael makes this known with clarity. You were never behind. You were being brought into the exact moment where everything could come together without resistance. That is what true timing looks like. Not right, not forced, not chaotic, but aligned. When something arrives in alignment, it does not create confusion. It creates recognition. You will know it not because you chased it, but because it meets you with a sense of rightness that cannot be fabricated. This is why recognizing timing is more important than rushing. Because rushing is driven by the belief that something is missing, while recognition is rooted in the awareness that everything is already converging. If you rush, you move out of sync with what is being orchestrated. But if you recognize, you move with it. You are no longer in a season of wondering if it will happen. You are in a moment of preparing to receive what is already moving toward you. The illusion of delay is breaking. The narrative of denial is dissolving. And in its place, clarity is emerging. You have not been waiting in vain. You have been arriving. Type ISE the alignment in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 3333 is now activated around your path. As this truth settles into your spirit, understand this. Every word that reaches you is not just for you. It is meant to become a light for someone else who is still lost in the illusion of delay. When you choose to support this mission through Super Thanks or the PayPal link in the description, you are sowing into a harvest of awakening across lives you may never see, but heaven always records. The word declares, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy," and right now, your seed becomes someone else's breakthrough. I speak this over you. Every act of giving becomes a river that flows back into your life with multiplied clarity, favor, and divine acceleration. This is your moment to respond, not casually, but prophetically. If your spirit is stirred, do not delay your obedience. Step into this act of alignment and release your seed now, knowing heaven is already responding. There comes a moment in every unfolding where the noise of urgency begins to rise louder than the voice of clarity. It is subtle at first, almost unnoticeable, but then it grows stronger, pressing against your thoughts, urging you to act, to decide, to move before you fully understand what is happening. This is the moment where many lose alignment, not because they lack purpose, but because they surrender to impulse instead of honoring timing. And this is exactly where you are being warned. Archangel Michael does not speak in uncertainty. His presence in this moment is deliberate, and his message is not vague. It is precise, grounded, and unwavering. You must choose timing over impulse. These words are not a suggestion. They are instruction. Because what stands before you now is not a test of your desire, but a test of your discernment. Impulse is powerful. It feels like urgency. It feels like instinct. It feels like something within you is pushing you forward, telling you that if you do not act now, you might miss your chance. But impulse is often rooted in fear, the fear of missing out, the fear of being left behind, the fear that what is meant for you might pass you if you do not reach for it quickly enough. Timing, on the other hand, does not carry fear. It carries certainty. Timing does not rush you. It aligns you. It does not push you into action before you are ready. It reveals itself in a way that allows you to move with clarity, not confusion. And this is the difference you must learn to recognize, because what is coming into your life cannot be secured through force. It can only be received through alignment. There have been moments recently where you felt the urge to act quickly, to make a decision before you had all the information, to respond before you had full clarity, to move forward simply to relieve the tension you have been feeling. But each time, something within you hesitated. Something held you back. Something whispered, "Wait." That whisper was not doubt. It was guidance. Archangel Michael reveals this truth with authority. Every hesitation you felt was protection. You were not being delayed. You were being preserved from stepping out of alignment at the very moment when alignment matters most. Because when something significant is this close, even a small misstep can redirect your path in ways that are unnecessary and avoidable. You are not meant to chase what is coming. You are meant to meet it. And meeting something requires presence. It requires awareness. It requires the ability to recognize when the moment is right, rather than forcing the moment to happen. This is why impulse must be set aside. Because impulse acts without full vision, while timing reveals itself with clarity. There is a stillness being asked of you now. Not an activity, but intentional stillness. A posture of awareness where you observe, where you listen, where you allow what is unfolding to become clear before you engage with it. This is not passive. This is powerful. Because in this stillness, you begin to see what you could not see when you were caught in the urgency to act. You will notice that the more you resist impulse, the more clarity begins to form. The scattered thoughts begin to organize themselves. The uncertainty begins to settle. The path that once seemed unclear begins to reveal its direction without force. This is the effect of honoring timing. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of this moment, not to restrict you, but to ensure that you do not move prematurely. His message carries a weight that cannot be ignored. What is meant for you will not require you to abandon your discernment to receive it. If something feels like it demands immediate action without clarity, it is not aligned with what is being prepared for you now. This is where trust becomes essential. Trust not in external pressure, but in the internal knowing that has been quietly guiding you. Trust that what is approaching your life is not fragile. It does not depend on rushed decisions or forced actions. It is steady. It is intentional. It is arriving with or without your urgency, but it requires your awareness to be recognized. You are being positioned to respond, not react. To move with intention, not impulse. To recognize the moment when it fully arrives, rather than trying to create the moment yourself. This distinction will determine how smoothly you step into what is coming. Because what is coming is real. It is not an idea. It is not a distant possibility. It is something that has been moving toward you, aligning with you, preparing to meet you at the exact point where timing and awareness intersect. And when that intersection occurs, there will be no confusion. There will be no need to rush. There will only be clarity. Until then, remain grounded. Remain aware. Remain patient in a way that is not passive but observant. Because timing is not withholding anything from you. It is ensuring that when it arrives, you are fully ready to receive it. Type "I choose timing over impulse" in the comments if you receive this message. Lesson code 4444 is now surrounding your decisions. There is a part of your journey that you were never meant to fully see while it was happening. Not because it was insignificant, but because it was too intricate, too detailed, too precise to be understood in real time. And yet, it is this very hidden preparation that has brought you to the edge of where you stand now. What felt like stillness to you was, in truth, movement at a level beyond your immediate awareness. You must begin to understand this clearly. While you were waiting, things were not paused. While you were questioning, things were not uncertain. While you were wondering if anything was happening at all, there was a sequence unfolding with exactness. Every delay you perceived was actually a synchronization. Every pause was a recalibration. Every moment that felt uneventful was a moment where unseen adjustments were being made in your favor. Archangel Michael reveals this with unwavering clarity. What you could not see was more important than what you could. Because if you had seen every detail, every shift, every realignment as it was happening, you would have been tempted to interfere. You would have tried to control what was meant to unfold naturally. You would have rushed steps that required patience. And in doing so, you would have disrupted the very precision that was protecting your outcome. There were factors beyond you that needed to come into alignment. People whose paths had to intersect with yours at the right moment. Circumstances that needed to change without your involvement. Conditions that had to be prepared before you could step into what has been waiting for you. None of this could be forced. None of this could be accelerated without consequence. It required time, not wasted time, but intentional time. This is why certain things around you seemed to move slowly or not at all. It was not because you were being overlooked. It was because the environment itself was being adjusted. Pieces were being moved into position. Doors were being aligned so that when they opened, they would lead exactly where they are meant to lead, not to confusion, not to misdirection, but to clarity. There were also internal shifts taking place within you, changes that you may not have fully noticed, but that have transformed the way you think, the way you respond, the way you perceive what is happening around you. You are not the same as you were when you first began waiting for what you desire. Your awareness has deepened. Your reactions have matured. Your ability to discern what feels right and what does not has strengthened. This is not accidental growth. It is preparation. Archangel Michael speaks into this transformation with authority. You were being shaped to recognize what you once would have overlooked. This is critical, because what is coming into your life now requires a different level of awareness than what you had before. If it had arrived earlier, you might have misinterpreted it. You might have undervalued it. You might have allowed it to pass without fully recognizing its significance. But now, you are different. And now you are able to see with greater clarity. And now, you are able to pause instead of react. Now, you are able to sense the difference between something that is merely available and something that is truly aligned. This shift within you is not separate from what is happening externally. It is directly connected to it. Because the preparation was never just about what is coming. It was about who you would be when it arrives. There were also things being removed from your path that you may not have recognized at the time. Opportunities that seemed promising but quietly disappeared. Connections that faded without explanation. Paths that once felt right but gradually lost their pull. These were not losses. They were clearings. They were the removal of anything that could interfere with the precision of what is now approaching you. Archangel Michael makes this unmistakably clear. Nothing that left was meant to stand in the moment you are entering. What remains around you now is not random. It is what has endured the process of alignment. It is what belongs in the space you are stepping into. And everything that did not belong has already been moved out of the way. This is why you must trust what has unfolded, even if you did not fully understand it at the time. Because every unseen movement has contributed to the exact positioning you are in now. You are not starting from where you think you are. You are arriving at a point that has been built through layers of preparation you were never meant to control. And now, as everything begins to converge, you may start to notice how certain things suddenly make sense, how past moments connect in ways they did not before, how delays reveal themselves as necessary steps rather than obstacles. This clarity is not coincidental. It is the result of preparation reaching its completion. You are no longer in the phase of unseen adjustment. You are stepping into the phase of visible alignment. And what is about to unfold will not feel random or forced. It will feel precise. It will feel timely. It will feel like something that has been forming long before you recognized it. Because it has. Type "I trust the preparation" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 5555 is now activated around your path. There is a distinct moment in every journey where the weight seems to increase instead of lighten, where the path feels more intense instead of more peaceful, where the clarity you've been building suddenly feels tested rather than confirmed. This moment often confuses people because it appears to contradict everything they believe about progress. You would expect that as something gets closer, it should feel easier, smoother, more obvious. But instead, what you are experiencing now feels heavier, more pressing, more demanding of your attention. This is the final stretch, and it is meant to feel this way. You must understand this deeply, because misinterpreting this moment is one of the most common reasons people step out of alignment just before everything comes together. When you are this close to what you have been waiting for, the intensity increases, not as a punishment, not as a setback, but as a final refinement. It is the moment where everything within you is being asked to stabilize, to solidify, to stand firm without wavering. Archangel Michael speaks into this moment with unmistakable authority. What feels like resistance is often completion in disguise. This is not the time to question everything. This is not the time to assume something has gone wrong. This is the time to recognize that you are at the edge of transition. And edges are never comfortable places to stand. They require balance. They require awareness. They require trust. The reason it feels harder now is because you are no longer far from what you desire. You are close enough that every remaining misalignment, every lingering doubt, every unresolved tension rises to the surface. Not to overwhelm you, but to be released before you step forward. What you feel is not the weight of failure. It is the pressure of completion. There may be moments where you feel pulled in different directions. Moments where your mind tries to revisit old patterns, old ways of thinking, old reactions that you have already outgrown. This is not regression. This is exposure. It is the final surfacing of what cannot move forward with you. And you are being given the opportunity to recognize it, to choose differently, to remain aligned instead of falling back into what is familiar but no longer fitting. Archangel Michael makes this clear. Do not return to what you have already outgrown just because the moment feels intense. The final stretch will often tempt you to seek comfort in what is known, even if it is no longer aligned with where you are going. But comfort is not your guide right now. Alignment is. You may also notice that external circumstances feel uncertain. Things may not yet reflect the change you sense internally. There may still be unanswered questions, unresolved situations, incomplete pieces. This is part of the final stretch as well. Because what is coming does not arrive partially. It arrives completely. And until everything is ready to meet you at once, there will be a temporary space where it feels like you are suspended between what was and what is about to be. This space is not empty. It is active. It is the moment where everything is converging. And convergence often feels like tension before it feels like release. There is also a deeper reason why this phase feels the most challenging. It is because your awareness is at its highest point. You are more conscious now than you were before. You are more sensitive to what feels aligned and what does not. You are more aware of the shifts happening around you. And with that heightened awareness comes a heightened experience of everything, both the clarity and the discomfort. But this heightened awareness is not a burden. It is a signal. It is telling you that you are fully present in the moment where everything matters most. Archangel Michael stands firmly in this space, not to remove the intensity, but to guide you through it. His message is steady and unwavering. Hold your position. Do not move out of alignment now, because the final stretch is not about doing more. It is about remaining grounded in what you already know. It is about trusting the preparation that has brought you here. It is about allowing the last pieces to fall into place without interference. You are not being asked to figure everything out. You are being asked to remain steady, because what is coming does not require you to struggle for it. It requires you to be ready for it. And readiness is not built in ease alone. It is built in moments like this, moments where you choose stability over reaction, awareness over assumption, trust over doubt. You are closer now than you have ever been. Closer than your mind fully realizes. Closer than your current circumstances may suggest. And this intensity you feel is not a warning to step back. It is a confirmation that you are about to step forward. Do not misread this moment. Do not let the weight convince you that something is wrong. Nothing is wrong. Everything is aligning. And you are standing at the threshold. Type "I remain steady" in the comments if you receive this message. Message code 6666 is now surrounding your path. There is a shift happening within you now that cannot be ignored, even if you try to explain it logically. It is subtle, yet undeniable. It is quiet, yet persistent. It is the sharpening of something that has always been within you but is now becoming more active, more precise, more reliable. This is discernment rising to the surface, not as an abstract idea, but as a living awareness that is guiding you in real time. You are no longer perceiving things the way you once did. Situations that would have once seemed normal now feel questionable. Opportunities that might have once excited you now require a second look. Words that once would have been accepted at face value now carry layers that you can sense beneath them. This is not overthinking. This is not doubt. This is discernment being activated at a higher level. Archangel Michael speaks into this activation with clarity and strength. You are being shown what you are now ready to understand. This is not a coincidence. This is not a random development. This is preparation reaching its next phase. Because what is about to arrive in your life requires you to recognize it correctly. It requires you to see beyond appearances. It requires you to trust what you sense, even when it cannot yet be fully explained. Discernment is not loud. It does not force itself. It does not demand attention in the same way impulse does. Instead, it presents itself as a quiet knowing, a subtle clarity that does not need to argue or justify itself. And yet, because it is quiet, it is often overlooked, especially when the noise of urgency, expectation, or external influence tries to take precedence. This is why this moment is critical. You are being asked to listen more closely than you ever have before. Not to what is being said around you, but to what is being revealed within you. Because the recognition of what is coming will not be obvious to everyone. It will not appear in a way that demands universal agreement or validation. It will require your awareness. It will require your ability to sense alignment without needing external confirmation. There have already been moments where your discernment has tried to guide you. Moments where something felt slightly off, even if everything looked acceptable on the surface. Moments where something felt right, even if it did not fully make sense at the time. These moments were not random impressions. They were signals. They were your discernment attempting to communicate with you before your mind could fully process the information. Archangel Michael emphasizes this with precision. Trust what is consistent within you, not what is loud around you. Because external noise can be convincing. It can create pressure. It can make you question your own perception. But true discernment remains steady. It does not fluctuate with every opinion or circumstance. It holds a consistent sense of knowing that becomes clearer the more you pay attention to it. As you move closer to what has been waiting for you, this discernment becomes essential. Because not everything that appears will be aligned. Not every opportunity that presents itself will be the one meant for you. Not every path that opens will lead where you are intended to go. And without discernment, it becomes easy to mistake movement for progress. You are not being asked to reject everything or question everything. You are being asked to recognize, to notice the difference between what feels aligned and what feels forced, to sense the difference between what resonates deeply and what only appears appealing on the surface. This is not a skill you are learning for the first time. It is a sensitivity you are remembering how to trust. There is also something important you must understand about this activation. Discernment often becomes strongest just before something significant arrives. It sharpens because it is needed. It intensifies because the moment requires it. And that is exactly where you are now. You are not being given this heightened awareness without reason. You are being prepared to recognize something that you cannot afford to misinterpret. You may also notice that your tolerance for misalignment has decreased. Things that you once accepted without question now feel difficult to engage with. Conversations, environments, or patterns that once felt normal now feel out of place. This is not discomfort without purpose. This is refinement. It is the natural result of your awareness increasing. And it is guiding you away from what does not belong in the space you are about to enter. Archangel Michael stands firm in this moment, reinforcing what you must hold on to. What is meant for you will resonate with clarity, not confusion. This does not mean there will be no questions or unknowns. It means that beneath those unknowns, there will be a sense of alignment that does not require force or persuasion. You will not have to convince yourself. You will recognize it. This is why slowing down matters. This is why rushing would disrupt what is being revealed. Because discernment requires space. It requires stillness. It requires your willingness to pause long enough to feel what is true before reacting to what is immediate. You are not unprepared for this moment. You are becoming precisely equipped for it. Every shift in your awareness, every moment of quiet knowing, every subtle signal you have felt is leading you toward recognition. And recognition is what will allow you to step into what is coming with clarity instead of confusion. You are not guessing anymore. You are perceiving. And what you perceive now will determine how you receive what is about to arrive. Type "I trust my discernment" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 7777 is now activated within you. There is a quiet but critical danger that emerges when you reach a moment like this, a danger that does not announce itself loudly, yet has the power to redirect everything you have been moving toward. It is not failure. It is not lack. It is not even opposition in the way you might expect. It is rushing. And what makes rushing so deceptive is that it often feels like progress. You must understand this with clarity, because this is where many lose what was already within reach. Rushing creates the illusion that you are moving forward, that you are taking control, that you are ensuring nothing slips away. But in reality, rushing pulls you out of alignment with the very timing that has been carefully established for you. It causes you to act before recognition is complete, to decide before clarity is formed, to step before the ground beneath you has fully settled. Archangel Michael speaks into this moment with unmistakable authority. What is meant for you cannot be secured through haste. These words are not meant to restrict you. They are meant to protect you. Because what is coming into your life is not fragile, but your ability to recognize it correctly can be disrupted if you allow urgency to override awareness. There is a subtle pressure that accompanies proximity. As something gets closer, the desire to grasp it intensifies. You begin to feel as though you must act quickly, that if you do not move now, the moment might pass you by. This is the illusion. Because what is truly aligned with you does not require you to chase it in fear of losing it. It arrives in a way that allows you to meet it with certainty, not anxiety. You may have already experienced moments where you almost moved too quickly. Moments where you felt the urge to make a decision before you fully understood what was unfolding. Moments where something seemed right on the surface, but something within you hesitated. That hesitation was not weakness. It was discernment protecting your timing. Archangel Michael reinforces this truth. Every moment you paused instead of rushing preserved your alignment. You were not missing opportunities. You were avoiding misalignment. Because not everything that appears at this stage is meant to be accepted. Some things will present themselves as distractions disguised as solutions, as alternatives that seem convenient but are not precise. This is why rushing becomes dangerous. It lowers your awareness just enough that you begin to prioritize movement over meaning. You begin to accept what is available instead of waiting for what is aligned. And in doing so, you can step into something that resembles what you wanted, but does not carry the fullness of what was actually meant for you. There is a difference between something that is accessible and something that is assigned. Accessibility can appear at any time. Alignment arrives at the right time. And if you rush, you may settle for what is merely accessible, thinking it is what you have been waiting for, when in truth, what is assigned to you is still approaching. This is why patience in this moment is not passive. It is protective. It is the act of maintaining clarity even when urgency tries to take over. It is the decision to remain grounded even when everything within you feels ready to move. Because readiness does not mean immediacy. Readiness means you are prepared to recognize the right moment, not just any moment. You must also recognize that rushing often comes from a place of doubt. A doubt that questions whether what you have been waiting for will truly arrive. A doubt that suggests you must take matters into your own hands to ensure an outcome. But this doubt is not truth. It is a reaction to the intensity of the moment, not a reflection of what is actually happening. Archangel Michael speaks firmly into this. Do not let doubt disguise itself as urgency. Because urgency that is driven by doubt will always lead you away from alignment. It will push you to act prematurely, to commit too quickly, to move without full awareness. And once you move from that place, it becomes difficult to recognize the moment when the true alignment arrives. What you must hold on to now is this. What is meant for you is not fragile. It does not require you to rush to secure it. It requires you to remain aware so that you do not miss it when it reveals itself fully. There is a difference between missing something because it never came, and missing something because you moved too quickly to see it. You are not being asked to hesitate out of fear. You are being asked to remain steady in awareness, to allow the moment to reveal itself completely before you engage with it, to trust that what is coming is not dependent on your speed but on your recognition. Because when the right moment arrives, it will not need to be forced. It will not need to be chased. It will meet you in a way that feels clear, grounded, and undeniable. And in that moment, you will move, not out of urgency, but out of certainty. Until then, remain still enough to see. Remain aware enough to recognize. Remain grounded enough to wait, because rushing now could cause you to overlook what has been perfectly aligned for you. Type "I will not rush" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 8888 is now surrounding your timing. As you stand in this moment of awareness, understand that your ability to slow down and recognize divine timing is the very light someone else is still searching for in their darkness. When you release your support through Super Thanks or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a message. You are fueling a movement that awakens souls who are on the edge of missing their moment. The word declares, one sows, another waters, but God gives the increase, and right now, your seed becomes the very water that helps someone else see clearly. I speak this over you. Every act of obedience you release will return as multiplied clarity, protection, and favor over your life. This is not a casual moment. This is a prophetic response. If your spirit is stirred, act now and release your seed without hesitation. There is a belief that has followed you quietly for a long time, a belief that has shaped how you respond when something important feels close. It is the belief that effort alone determines outcome. That if you push harder, try more, think more, act more, you will eventually arrive at what you have been seeking. And while effort has its place, there is a truth that is now being revealed to you at a deeper level. Effort without alignment does not unlock what is meant for you. You are not standing at the edge of something that requires more force. You are standing at the edge of something that requires precision. This is where the shift must happen within you. Because what is approaching your life now is not responding to how much you do. It is responding to how aligned you are when you meet it. And this is why everything has slowed, everything has stretched, everything has been arranged in a way that forces you to become aware rather than reactive. Archangel Michael speaks into this moment with clarity that cannot be ignored. You do not need to work harder to receive what is already aligned. You need to stand correctly when it arrives. These words redefine everything, because they remove the pressure to perform and replace it with the responsibility to recognize. Effort often comes from a place of trying to control the outcome. It pushes you to take action even when the timing is unclear. It convinces you that movement itself is progress. But alignment is different. Alignment does not rush into action. It waits until the action is clear. It does not force outcomes. It meets them. It does not create unnecessary movement. It responds to the right moment. This is why you have felt a shift recently. A quiet resistance to forcing things the way you once did. A hesitation to act without clarity. A growing awareness that not everything requires your intervention. This is not passivity. This is alignment beginning to take priority over effort. You are being repositioned internally so that when what you have been waiting for fully reveals itself, you are not trying to make it happen. You are ready to receive it. There is also something else you must understand about this moment. When something is truly aligned for you, it does not require you to exhaust yourself to maintain it. It does not demand constant force or continuous correction. It feeds it. It flows. It stabilizes. Not because it is effortless, but because it is correct. Archangel Michael makes this unmistakably clear. What is aligned will hold its place without your struggle. This does not mean there will be no responsibility or no participation from you. It means that your role will feel natural, not forced. It will feel intentional, not chaotic. It will feel like something you are stepping into, not something you are trying to hold together. This is why alignment matters more than effort at this stage. Because you are no longer trying to create an outcome from nothing. You are stepping into something that has already been prepared. And when something is prepared, it requires recognition, not construction. You may have noticed that things you once pushed for no longer respond the same way. That forcing outcomes now feels draining rather than productive. That trying to control situations leads to more confusion instead of clarity. This is not failure. This is a redirection. It is a clear signal that the way forward is no longer through force, but through alignment. You are being asked to shift your focus, not from action to inaction, but from force action to intentional response. From trying to make things happen to recognizing when things are happening. This is where clarity becomes your greatest strength. Because when you are aligned, you do not question every step. You do not second-guess every decision. You move when it is time to move, and you remain still when it is time to observe. There is a rhythm to alignment, and you are beginning to feel it. Archangel Michael stands as a steady presence in this moment, reinforcing what must guide you now. Do not measure your progress by how much you do. Measure it by how clearly you see. Because clarity will lead you to the right action at the right time, without unnecessary effort. You are not falling behind by slowing down. You are positioning yourself correctly. You are not losing momentum by waiting for clarity. You are preserving alignment. And this alignment is what will unlock what hath been waiting for you. Because when the moment arrives fully, it will not require you to chase it or force it into place. It will meet you in a way that confirms everything you have been sensing. And your response will not come from urgency. It will come from knowing. That is the power of alignment. That is the difference between effort and awareness. And that is the key to stepping into what is now closer than it has ever been. Type "I choose alignment" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 9999 is now activated around your path. There is a moment that exists within every unfolding, a moment that cannot be forced, cannot be predicted with precision, and cannot be recreated once it passes. It is a window, a specific point where everything that has been preparing, lining, and shifting finally meets your awareness. This is not just a moment of opportunity. It is a moment of convergence, where timing and obedience intersect in a way that unlocks what has been waiting for you. You are approaching that window now. This is why everything has felt so intentional, so measured, so carefully arranged. Because breakthrough does not happen randomly. It happens when all the elements that have been set into motion reach the point where they can fully connect without resistance. And when that moment arrives, it requires something from you. Not effort, not force, but obedience. Archangel Michael speaks into this with unwavering authority. When the moment reveals itself, your response must be clear. This is where everything you have been learning, everything you have been feeling, everything you have been discerning comes together. Because the window will not announce itself loudly. It will not demand your attention in a way that overrides your awareness. It will appear in alignment with the clarity you have been building. This is why rushing would have caused you to miss it. Because the breakthrough window is not recognized through urgency. It is recognized through awareness. There will be a moment, simple on the surface, but significant beneath it, where something becomes clear in a way it has not been before. A decision will feel different. A path will become defined. A situation will reveal its true direction. And in that moment, you will feel a quiet certainty that does not require explanation. That is the window. It is not dramatic. It is precise. It is not overwhelming. It is confirming. And when it appears, hesitation will not serve you. This is where obedience becomes essential. Because once the moment is recognized, it is not meant to be analyzed endlessly. It is meant to be responded to with clarity. Archangel Michael makes this distinction clear. Discernment prepares you. Obedience moves you. You have already been developing the awareness required to recognize what is aligned. But recognition alone is not enough. When the moment arrives, you must be willing to act in alignment with what you see. This is not the same as rushing. Rushing is acting without clarity. Obedience is acting because of clarity. And this difference is what ensures that your movement is aligned with timing, not driven by impulse. There may be a brief moment where your mind tries to question what you are sensing. A moment where you consider waiting longer, analyzing further, seeking additional confirmation. But this is where trust becomes essential, because the clarity you will feel in that moment is not something that needs to be built. It is something that will already be present. You are not being asked to leap without awareness. You are being asked to move when awareness becomes complete. This is why the preparation has been so important, because it has brought you to a point where you can recognize this window without confusion, where you can sense the difference between something that feels forced and something that feels aligned, where you can respond without hesitation because you understand what you are seeing. There is also something important you must understand about this window. It is not permanent. It is precise. It opens when everything is ready, and it requires your presence to be fully recognized. If you are distracted, if you are rushed, if you are misaligned, it can pass without being fully engaged. But you are not unprepared for it. You are being positioned to meet it. Archangel Michael stands firmly in this moment, reinforcing what must guide you when the time comes. Stay present. Stay aware. When the moment comes, you will know. This is not uncertainty. This is assurance. Because what is aligned with you will not feel hidden when it arrives. It will feel clear. And when it is clear, you must move. Not out of fear, not out of urgency, but out of alignment. This is the difference between waiting and receiving. Waiting ends when recognition happens. Receiving begins when obedience follows. You are no longer far from this moment. You are approaching it. And everything you have been experiencing, the tension, the preparation, the refinement, the discernment, have been leading you here, to the point where timing and obedience meet, to the moment where what you have been waiting for becomes something you step into. Do not miss it by hesitating when clarity arrives. Do not overlook it by questioning what you already recognize, because when the window opens, it will not need to convince you. It will confirm what you already know. And in that confirmation, your next step will be clear. Type "I will respond" with clarity in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1010 is now activated around your decisions. There is a question that lingers quietly as you approach a moment like this, even when you feel prepared, even when you sense that something is close. The question is simple, but it carries weight. How will I know? Not out of doubt, but out of a desire to be certain. To be sure that when the moment arrives, you will not mistake it, overlook it, or misinterpret it. And this is where clarity must replace uncertainty, because the arrival of what you have been waiting for will not come in confusion. It will not leave you guessing in the way past moments may have. It will not demand that you convince yourself of its alignment. Instead, it will bring confirmation, not in one form, but in layers. Quiet, steady, undeniable confirmation that builds until recognition becomes unavoidable. Archangel Michael speaks into this with a voice that carries both authority and reassurance. What is aligned will confirm itself without force. This is what you must hold on to. Because when something is truly meant for you, it does not rely on persuasion. It does not require you to ignore your discernment. It meets your awareness with clarity that feels consistent, not chaotic. The confirmation signs will not always be dramatic, but they will be precise. They will appear in ways that connect, in ways that repeat, in ways that remove the uncertainty that once surrounded your decisions. You may notice patterns forming, subtle at first, then more defined. Conversations that align with thoughts you have been carrying. Opportunities that reflect what you have been preparing for. Moments that feel familiar in a way you cannot explain, as though you are stepping into something you already recognize. This sense of recognition is one of the strongest confirmations you will experience, because what is aligned with you will not feel foreign. It will feel known, not because you have experienced it before, but because it resonates with a level of clarity that matches what has been forming within you. It will not create internal conflict. It will not leave you questioning your direction repeatedly. Instead, it will settle something within you. It will bring a sense of steadiness that does not need constant validation. Archangel Michael emphasizes this. Clarity will feel calm, not urgent. This is a critical distinction, because urgency often tries to imitate confirmation. It pushes you to act quickly, to decide immediately, to move before you have fully absorbed what is happening. But true confirmation does not rush you. It allows you to see clearly, to understand fully, to respond with confidence. There will also be a consistency to the signs you receive. Not random, disconnected signals, but aligned indications that point in the same direction. This consistency is what separates confirmation from coincidence. It builds a foundation of awareness that becomes stronger with each moment, until doubt no longer holds the same influence. You may also notice a shift in how you feel internally, a sense of alignment that does not require effort to maintain, a clarity that does not fluctuate with every external opinion, a grounded awareness that remains steady even when there are still unknowns. This is confirmation at its core, not the removal of all questions, but the presence of enough clarity that you no longer need to question your direction. There is something else that will become clear in this moment. What once felt complicated will begin to simplify. What once felt uncertain will begin to define itself. The path that seemed unclear will reveal its structure in a way that feels natural, not forced. This is not because everything suddenly becomes easy, but because everything becomes aligned. Archangel Michael stands firm in this understanding, reinforcing what you must recognize. When it is right, you will not need to struggle to believe it. This does not mean there will be no responsibility, no action required from you. It means that the decision to move forward will not feel like something you are trying to justify. It will feel like something you understand. You must also trust that you are capable of recognizing these signs. There is no need to overanalyze or second-guess every detail. The awareness you have developed, the discernment you have strengthened, the clarity you have built, all of it has been preparing you for this exact moment. You are not approaching this unprepared. You are arriving equipped. And when the confirmation comes, it will not be hidden. It will meet you in your awareness. It will align with what you have already been sensing. It will remove the need to force understanding. This is how you will know. Not through pressure, not through urgency, but through clarity that remains steady. True alignment that feels natural. True recognition that does not fade. You are not being asked to search endlessly for signs. You are being positioned to recognize them when they appear. And they will appear. Because what is meant for you does not arrive silently. It arrives with confirmation. Type "I recognize the signs" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1111 is now activated around your awareness. There comes a moment when everything that has been building, lining, and preparing reaches its point of release. Not gradually, not uncertainly, but with a clarity that shifts you from waiting into receiving. This is not the continuation of the process you have been in. This is the transition out of it. The moment where what hath been forming beneath the surface becomes visible, tangible, and undeniable. You are standing at the edge of that release now. This is why everything has felt heightened. This is why your awareness has sharpened. This is why the tension, the preparation, the discernment, and the restraint have all intensified at once. Because release does not happen in fragments. It happens when everything is ready to move forward together. And that moment is no longer distant. It is present. Archangel Michael steps forward in this final phase, his presence steady and unshaken, his message clear. What has been held back is not being denied. It is being delivered. These words carry the weight of everything you have experienced up to this point. Because what once felt withheld will now reveal itself as perfectly timed. What once felt uncertain will now become defined. What once felt like waiting will now become movement. This is the divine release. It is not something you create. It is something you step into. There will be a moment, clear, grounded, unmistakable, where everything aligns in a way that no longer requires questioning. The path that seemed incomplete will connect. The opportunity that seemed distant will present itself. The clarity you have been building will meet a real situation that reflects it fully. And in that moment, you will not feel rushed. You will feel ready. This readiness is what you have been moving toward all along. Because stepping into what hath been waiting for you is not about sudden change alone. It is about aligned transition. It is about moving forward in a way that feels natural, even if it is new. It is about recognizing that you are no longer reaching for something. You are receiving it. Archangel Michael reinforces this truth. You are not stepping into something unfamiliar. You are stepping into something prepared. This is why recognition will come so naturally when the moment arrives. Because everything within you has already been aligned with what is about to unfold. You are not adjusting to it. You are meeting it. There is also something you must release as you enter this phase. You must release the mindset of waiting. Because once the release begins, waiting is no longer your position. Receiving is. And receiving requires presence. It requires your full awareness, your willingness to move with what is unfolding instead of holding on to the idea that it has not yet arrived. You are no longer preparing for something in the distance. You are stepping into something that is here. This is why hesitation must not follow recognition. This is why doubt must not return once clarity is established. Because the moment of release is not the time to retreat into uncertainty. It is the time to move forward with the awareness you have built. You will notice that things begin to align quickly once this phase begins. Not chaotically, but precisely. One moment will connect to the next. One step will reveal another. The path will not feel forced. It will feel guided. And this is how you will know that you have stepped into the release. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of this transition, reminding you, do not look back to measure what has already been completed. Because what is behind you has already served its purpose. The waiting, the preparation, the refinement, all of it has led to this point. And now, your focus must remain on what is unfolding in front of you. This is your moment. Not to question, not to hesitate, but to step forward. What you have been waiting for is no longer approaching. It has arrived, and you are ready to meet it. Type "I receive what is mine" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1212 is now activated around your life. As you step into this divine release, understand that your obedience does not end with receiving. It multiplies through giving. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks with the PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are opening doors for countless souls who are still waiting for their moment of clarity. The word declares, "Cast your bread upon the waters, and it shall return to you." And I declare over you now, every seed you release becomes a gateway for divine increase, not just for others, but for your own life. I feel this strongly. This is your moment to respond with faith, not hesitation. As you have received revelation, now release your seed as an act of alignment. Step into this prophetic flow and give now, knowing heaven is already responding to your obedience.